Welcome to episode 30 of Freshly Grounded. Do we have a special guest or... No, we just have Sammy's back. Regular.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome back, Sam.
Thank you.
Feels good.
Feels good to be back, yeah.
Feels good to have you back.
Thank you.
I was all alone last week. You left me.
You were red.
I was.
So you weren't all alone, were you?
Nah. But I mean, yeah, on this side.
On that side of the table.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, it's nice to be back.
It was nice to have you back.
Thank you.
Great. Guys, this episode is brought to you by Al Furqan. Al Furqan is a Saturday school in St. Albans. Al Furqan is for children aged 3 to 18 years old. It's a Saturday school that teaches in St. Albans that teaches how to read Quran, basic Islamic studies, as understood by the Quran and the Sunnah, from the Quran and the Sunnah, as understood by the best of generations. It's a Saturday school, as I mentioned as well. But you're probably thinking, hold on a second. 3 to 18 years old, that's great. I'm going to send my kids there until they're 18. But what about myself? I want to do a bit of the old studying as well. Sam, what would you say to that?
I'd say Friday circle.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So on what? You mean on Friday evenings, even there's an adult class?
Study circle, Friday evenings.
Wow, that sounds just amazing. Guys, if you want to sign up, go to furqansalbans.org. That's FURQANSTALBANS.org. Furqan, Al Furqan School. Get your knowledge up. Also brought to you by 59. That's 50_NINE on Instagram. 59 Coffee and Juice Bar in St. Albans. Healthy snacks, healthy coffee, healthy living. You care about your body? You best head down to 59. I'll tell you that much. It's on 59 Stanhope Road. Probably the best coffee in the game. I love their coffee. They got fresh snacks, fresh vegetarian snacks, food, everything. Most things are freshly home made there and then and there.
Yep.
Fresh juices. 59.
Yes.
Energy balls.
Egg on toast. Banana on toast.
Nice.
Yeah, I had an egg and salmon we've got now.
Nice.
Egg and avocado. You'd like it, man. Yeah, nice breakfast menu.
It's also October, which means there's a new deal alert. Guys, if you head down to 59 on Stanhope Road in St. Albans, Hertfordshire, AL1 1BJ. That was right? Was that the
AL1 5BJ.
AL1 5BJ. This month, and you quote Freshly Grounded to the staff in 59. What do you get, Sam?
If you order a juice and you quote Freshly Grounded, I will give you a tote bag for free.
Wow. Until stocks last. There you have it, guys. You heard it here first. Also brought to you by izaha.com, izaha.com. Arabic caps, Arabic hoodies, Arabic jumpers. Head over to izaha.com, enter the word Freshly Grounded in cart, and you get 20% off. Now, I've had a few people say, oh, but we did that and it didn't work.
Is it?
Yeah.
Did you not implement it now?
Discount codes don't work on sale items, unfortunately, guys. The thing is already on sale. I would be making a loss. But non-sale items, obviously, it goes without saying.
Yeah.
Lastly, brought to you by Flavor, FLAVR.co. Sam, the Flavor website is finally live.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, so you can check it out. Check out the services on the Flavor website. Social media, content management, content creation, marketing, branding, app design, app development, website design, website development, the lot. Check it out, flavor.co. What did we talk about in this episode, Sam?
Obesity.
Yeah. Alfie.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Russell Brand. We speak about running away from your wife and to live in the woods because she nags you too much, living there for 5 years.
We speak about being homeless and being a drug addict.
A heroin addict, yeah. We speak about Louis Theroux.
We speak about Red wearing a bin liner and weights around his ankles.
Yep. We speak about, you already mentioned the obesity thing. We speak about driverless cars, driverless roads. Well, and yeah.
What else do we speak about?
We spoke about Dublin. Yeah. My failed attempt at surprising you.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, guys, it's a I'm gonna say it's a pretty good episode. This is episode 30, guys. Like, that's 30 episodes of Freshly Grounded.
That's a lot.
Alhamdulillah. Guys, if you have any ideas for guests that you want to see on the episode, we're going to get guests next week, inshallah. Drop them down in the comments below if you're watching it on YouTube. If you're listening to it on the podcast app, drop it on our Instagram page at freshly_grounded, or send us over an email, hello@freshlygrounded.com. hello@freshlygrounded.com. Email us if you want sponsorship opportunities, advertising opportunities, and finally and foremostly, no, that doesn't make sense. Finally and finally, if you want to help out the project, if you want to donate to the project, if you want to see us improve, and help out the cause, help out Freshly Grounded, head over to freshlygrounded.com/donate, and you can help us out. So with that being said, guys, let's get into episode 30. And welcome to Freshly Grounded, the brand new podcast by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Huh?
I said welcome to Freshly Grounded,
After that bit.
the brand new podcast
And after that bit?
by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Really?
Sam is back, baby. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
We literally haven't even hardly spoken. Sam literally just walked into the door. We hit red. We didn't hit red. Just to let you guys know, red has not been hit yet today. We hit red as in hit the record button, and we're live, man. Sam, you were missed, man. There's so much to go into. But first of all, can I just say, bro, I missed you so much.
I miss you too.
Bro, it's tough, you know.
What is?
We did an episode without you.
I know. How was it?
Don't do that to me again.
How was it? Good?
Bro, it was not good. It was good. So basically, I put out a poll on Instagram and I basically said, should we do an episode? With us? Bro, the people loved the Sam, you know. It was basically 50-50 split.
No, there's more votes to say.
By like 2 or 3%.
That's obviously why you did it.
Yeah, by about 2 or 3%.
Okay.
Yeah, literally
over
1,000 people voted. Yeah. And it was almost 50-50 split. So anyway, bro, I did it. And me and Red were like, we had a camera on Red that episode.
Red was
on camera.
Really?
In that area. It looked really nice because he had the studio stuff in the back. Yeah. And so I was like in the middle by myself. And bro, we were scared that like we would do. I said to Red before we went on air, I said, bro, like even if we can get an hour out of this, it's still an episode. We ended up going on for 2 hours.
So we had 2 hours, yeah?
Yeah, we had a 2 hour episode. And the reason being, bro, it was very hard not to have you. And the episode, everyone even caught with I got a lot of feedback, like private and public, from the episode. And the feedback I got was this: everyone prefers the episodes when it's us three. But people were saying, from the feedback that I got, is that it was better to at least still put out an episode. And the other thing was that the other feedback was that like it was very, very serious because I'm not going to banter with myself and like. We have a nice chemistry and people see that. Do you know what I mean? So it was hard, man. Like I would not want to do that like on a regular, like as in like.
Did you get any laughter?
Not
Red's funny.
Yeah, but we were having really serious chats, weren't we, Red, last week? Like it was a really deep episode, which was nice. And not that we don't have deep episodes of you, but generally the consensus was people are like. It's not as good as put an episode when you guys are all together, but it was good to still put out an episode.
Is that a new mic Red's got?
It's just without the muff on top.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's the same without. Is that how they look like on?
Yeah, that's how it looks like.
How come we've taken it off?
I just haven't unpacked it from Dubai.
Yeah,
which is quite nice like that.
It does, doesn't it?
But
what's the benefit of this?
Like when you do your P's and S's, sometimes it like hits the mic too harsh, so it's better to have it's better to have the thing. Yeah.
It's almost like a filter.
That looks smart.
Yeah.
Smart mic for a smart man.
Yeah, you look good.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, man. So it was tough, man. But bro, like I think consistency was definitely a good shout, because just to get episodes out every week, I think it's important, man. Like keeping people locked and that kind of stuff.
Pleasing the people.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but how have you been, man? You were in Dublin doing some big boy business moves, man.
Alhamdulillah.
So how did the launch go?
Yeah, it went really well, man.
So for those who don't know, Sam was in Dublin doing the launch of his of the new men's spire in Dublin.
New men's spire Dublin. So obviously The last time I saw you was in Dubai.
Yeah.
Technically, I saw you in England in the morning at Heathrow.
Yeah.
At 7 in or something.
Stressful period.
That was a yeah. You called. It was peak. I had to get. I told you how to get a
Yeah.
taxi now. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. That's the last time I saw you.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were in Dubai, and then I was back for literally 2 or 3 days work, and then went to Dublin. We had a big hair show, so loads of the guys from our London branch came over. We had a big hair show on the Sunday, and then we opened the salon officially on the Wednesday, and in between we did loads of training and various bits and pieces. Took Mahi out there, and then I ended up staying there till late Friday night.
Was that not the original plan?
Originally, I was going to see how it went. I was aware that I'd been away in Dubai the previous week for a while for my family and that, so I didn't want to say when I was going to come back, but I knew realistically I probably would have had to stay there a little bit longer. End of the day, I was opening a salon,
Of course.
and I was actually had a flight booked for me on the Tuesday night, which made no sense because I would have been going home Tuesday night knowing that the salon was opening the next day. It didn't make much sense, so I ended up adding a few days onto my trip, which was very beneficial and much needed as well. But alhamdulillah, yeah, it went really, really well. We were fully booked from day one.
We've got how busy it was, man.
We've got alhamdulillah, we've got a really good reputation in Dublin. We've been doing business in Dublin since day one that Menspire started. We've been doing education and stuff out there. So we've got a lot of people out there. So it was good, man. It was a long time coming, and it was fantastic to see Glenn achieve what he's been talking about for such a long time, which is to open his own shop. So to be a part of it was beautiful, alhamdulillah.
And not only be a part of it, but it's your store. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
of course,
Do you know what I mean?
alhamdulillah. Yeah, very
Alhamdulillah.
happy, very, very happy.
Allahumma barik, bro. So what do you think of the new team? Because it's a new set of barbers that obviously you don't normally work with and stuff. And I know there was a fairly long selection process. Months ago.
We've been working on this for a long time, and so we've had the team there secured for quite a while. But we had interview processes and stuff. So we've been going back and forth from Dublin for the last year consistently. So I've got an amazing team, handpicked team. We had, alhamdulillah, a lot of people who came forward for the interviews and stuff. So we literally just sort of handpicked our the people that we felt best fitted the brand.
How many people you got in there?
So we've got five people cutting hair and an assistant, and they're incredible, like massively inspiring. All of them are extremely talented at cutting hair, but their character is just beautiful as well. So it was a week of work in Dublin, but it felt like a week off work. But I was away from the stresses that I have got going on at home in the sense of work stresses, and I was just there, and it was so nice being in the company of so many like lovely guys, man. So inshallah, we're going to go over and do a Freshly Grounded in that store, like
A potential
before December comes. We should do that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because it's not expensive to get there and back and stuff. And obviously you've seen the seating area and stuff.
Yes.
Have you seen all of the built
I've
up?
seen everything. Yeah.
So it would be really, and they all love Freshly Grounded over there. So
Really?
yeah. So it would be they play it in the salon and that. So we'll go over there, inshallah, and we'll do a thing there because it would be a really beautiful place to shoot a Freshly Grounded as well.
Well, did you know that I was actually planning to come out to Dublin?
When?
You didn't know, did you?
What, this time?
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh, right. So let me tell you. The only reason I'm telling you is because I wouldn't have told you otherwise, but it was in my vlog and stuff. So
Okay.
So here's what's happening, right? So I'm watching. So we went to Dubai. We came back 2-3 days later. You went to Dublin, yeah. Now the store launched on a Wednesday,
yeah.
right? Wednesday 10 a.m. And so I remember that voice message I sent you where I was like, bro, like I'm just so like I'm watching your guys' story.
Yes.
So I'm there in my house now, yeah, watching like your story, Glenn's story, Menspire story, Josh LaMonica's story, and like Mahi's story. And I'm like, this feels like such a big checkpoint in your like guys' like in Menspire's like lifetime, and it looks so amazing, and it looks so inspiring, it looks so beautiful, and I was watching it and it was genuinely making me so happy. And bro, I'm not saying that I'm like an evil person, yeah.
I remember this message.
Yeah, bro, but like generally, yeah, I it's very rare for me to look.
Speak, because you know what? It's so what you said is something that I've pondered. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's something I pondered upon so many times. But go on. It's interesting. Really interesting.
What I was saying is that it's rare for me to like see someone do something that's like really good and success, and like see like a success and stuff. Unfortunately, it's very unfortunate that this is rare. See someone doing so well and see something that looks so amazing and want no part of it and be not jealous in any way, shape or form, but literally just be so happy for you for the sake of Allah. And bro, that's the emotion I felt when I saw that. I felt so happy, bro. Like, even me speaking about it now gives me goosebumps, because I just, like, when I was seeing it, it just made me so happy, honestly. And so at that point, I sent you the voice note just to let you know that, look, what you're doing is amazing, it's inspiring. Like, I really look up to you as like a businessman, as a person. And then I was thinking, like, that's it. That's where the thought process ended, yeah. And then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh, it just looks so amazing. The launch is tomorrow. I need to be there to support my boy. So I'm like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. So I was basically like, is it possible for me to potentially go there, surprise Sam, and just turn up like on the launch?
Yeah.
I was like, because only for the sake of it, I wanted to be there to experience it. I want to like let you know that I'm like supporting you, but also just like be there for the launch because it looks so amazing. Like, I saw the snaps of like Mahi teaching them how to do the thing. I was like, this just looks so sick, bro. Like, I'm so happy, yeah. So then I was like, all right, it's probably not gonna be possible. And I thought to myself, hold on a second, maybe if I can roll with someone and like figure this out with someone, because like me trying to figure this all out by myself is becoming a bit difficult. I need to slow down my speech because I'm on podcast. And so I rang Hanan and I said, yo, Hanan, so now it's like it's about 6 p.m. on Tuesday night, yeah? And I ring Hanan and I said, bro, do you fancy... He had just woken up because he was jet lagged from LA. He came up from LA the day before. I said, bro, do you fancy a 24-hour trip? And he started laughing. He was like, where? I explained to him what was happening in Dublin. I said, bro, they're launching tomorrow at 10 a.m. I want to go there. I want to surprise Sam. I want to turn up at the launch. So he's like, bro, that sounds good, but I literally just woke up and I don't know how possible it is, etc., etc. And he said, I've got a big meeting tomorrow, and I said, yeah, I had a hijama appointment booked for Thursday, like in the afternoon. I wouldn't have made it back in time, yeah. And so we had those two things. And I said, look, I can try and move that thing about. If you could try and move your meeting, because I think this is like a big thing, it would be amazing, blah blah. And then he was like, well, he finds it a bit difficult because if we're going tonight, like, I don't know if I'll make it. So he lives near Luton Airport. So I found a flight in next to Luton Airport. And then I said, bro, the only flight left, it leaves in 2 hours. Like, from now, left at 8 o'clock and it was 6 o'clock now.
Right.
And so I was like, bro, I don't need to take anything but my backpack. Let's just go. Like, I'll come drop my car to your house and we'll go. And he was like, all right, let me call you back. He calls me back and he's like, I just don't think it's possible with me to move me and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, fine. Then I'm like, a bit upset. I'm sitting at home. I was just thinking, I'm on my laptop. I'm looking at flights and stuff. And then I thought, and the main reason we didn't go is because it was just too tight. But in 2 hours time, it was leaving. And we would have had to book a hotel. And so it was becoming more and more expensive because we were even looking at hotels was just like, even just a regular hotel would be at least like over 100 quid, yeah.
Expensive, isn't it?
So for a 24-hour trip, it was looking like it was adding up more and more. And then I thought to myself, what if we go for a 24-hour trip in the sense that we literally don't even have to book a hotel? And I found a flight for 6 a.m. from Luton for 60 quid return. Yeah. We wouldn't have to book no hotel. Literally 60 quid is the only money I had to. I rang around. I was like, bro, this is what we're doing. We're going to go sleep. We're going to wake up at 4:30. We're going to go to Luton. We're going to get there. We're going to get to Dublin at 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. 2 hours before launch. We'll chill. I spoke to Mahi. Did you? On a private. I was like, Mahi, this is the plan. Yeah. And Mahi was like telling me details like what time it is, blah, blah, blah. So like, cool, got it all sorted. And then, but however, so the only thing is that I wouldn't have made it back for, oh no, my hijama must have been on a Wednesday. Yeah, I think my hijama was on a Wednesday that day, yeah. So I wouldn't have made it back for the hijama. So that was the only thing, and Hanan's meeting, yeah. And then I was thinking to myself, everything's ready, we can go. And I told my missus as well, so that I was like pretty much going, etc. I told her on the phone. And bro, something came to my head and it was this. And so basically, this brother messaged me on DMs. He basically said, I want to do your hijama, etc., etc. And I said, bro, how's Wednesday 4 p.m? He said, yeah, that's fine. And I basically said to him that I'll come, and he's offering me for free to do hijama, which and for me and Omar, they normally charge £35, so it's 70 quid, and he's doing it for free, and he'd taken a time out of his thing. And I started thinking, like, I now have to call this brother who's been so nice to me and cancel on him. Yeah. And then what came to my head was, I was thinking, what's the right thing to do? Do I cancel hijama? But I feel so rude doing that because he's offering it to me for free. I promised him that I'm going, so I made a promise to a brother. And lastly, and this was something that was really big for me, is that he's given me a slot which he could have made money in that slot for, but he's like giving it to me, and then now when I cancel so last minute, he probably can't even get money, like a thing. So so that came to my head, and then I thought of that thing that I spoke to you about once, which I think I spoke to you about it, which was when a student of knowledge asked the Sheikh, I believe it was Sheikh Fauzan, but don't quote me on that. He asked the Sheikh, he said, if I am fasting a sunnah fast, and my friend invites me to his house for lunch or dinner, do I break my fast and go to lunch, or do I keep fast? And the Sheikh said, you break your fast and go to lunch, because the fard always takes precedent, and you cannot break. You have to accept an invitation, and just like that, you can't break a promise. And so purely for that reason, I chose not to go Dublin, and I chose to keep my promise with this brother, and I went to the thing, and I was really upset about it. But
Really? I didn't know any of this.
I can't believe it. But I was very content with the fact that I know that I was doing it for the sake of Allah only. And as much as I wanted to surprise you and that kind of stuff, I know that was like more like for my desires. Like it would have been amazing to do that, but I hadn't like promised you yet that I'm going to do anything. So I chose not to go, but it was really sad.
I didn't know any of that. I think you made the right decision though.
Yeah, I think I made the right decision. But I was meeting this brother and stuff. Was amazing, such an amazing brother and stuff. But yeah,
I didn't realise any of that. Because Hanan was messaging me. I hadn't trimmed him for ages. He went away for 3 weeks. Yeah. I trimmed him just before he went, and he was messaging me like trying to get a haircut. And then I extended my stay in Dublin. So he was like, I might even come to Dublin to get a haircut. And I said, you should. And I left it as that. And I actually thought, if he wants to come to Dublin, I'll cut his hair. It'll be great. That's
well, he actually, inkling. When I said to that on the phone, do you want to go to Dublin? One of the first things he said is, well, I do need a haircut.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
But yeah, I that experience, I was vlogging like while I was like on the phone to Hanan and stuff. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go, I'm not gonna go, I'm gonna go. We were literally this close, but like it was 60 quid for return flight there and back. How cheap is that? From Luton, which is next to Hanan's house, so we wouldn't even have to like get a cab to the airport or anything. We could literally just get his brother to drop us. Everything was sorted. Mahi was in on it. My wife knew about it.
What was Mahi saying?
I basically told Mahi the plan. And I said, just let me know details. And he said, he was like surprised of it. He was like, 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
It would have been nice.
You know what? We can always go. It's an easy place to go. So we'll go. We'll go together and do something.
But we could definitely go before December, man.
100%. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. If you want to.
Yeah, I'm on it 100%.
Yeah. You can actually get really cheap. You can get like 40 quid return.
Yeah, because that was obviously like, because we were looking last minute,
Tell you what's ghastly, the cost of accommodation in Dublin city centre. Like
really?
You can, it's an expensive place to stay because a massive tourist trade in there.
Yeah, and you were there for what, over a week?
I was there for a week, yeah.
That must cost you an arm and a leg.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I tried to keep it as basic as possible because obviously there for work. But I was looking through, because I brought, Zayden came out on the...
I saw that.
Yeah, so alhamdulillah, my missus and Zayden came out on the Thursday. Yes, on the Thursday. And I remember the night before I was looking through some hotels to see what was there. And you can like, for a nice 5-star hotel in Dublin, it's about €1,000 a night. 1,000 quid a night, yeah. Really? Like how really insane, isn't it? Insane, 1,000, like for a basic room.
So basically 1,000 quid.
It is about 1,000 quid, yeah. It's a lot of money, isn't it? Obviously you can spend a lot less than that, but I remember thinking, that's expensive. Like even if you saw that in that nice London hotel, you would expect, maybe not be... Yeah, so expensive place to stay. It's quite an expensive city, to be fair.
So and then you came back with them, did you?
I came back with them on the Friday night.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, I've been away for a minute, so it was lovely just to have Zayden there. He was sweeping up, and it was nice to explore Dublin and that. I love Dublin. I recommend Dublin.
Yeah, you seem to love it.
Yeah, I think you would really like it. You would like it. It's quite a city. Like
I've never been to Ireland ever.
It's definitely. I think you would like Dublin. There's a lot going on. It's very up and coming.
Yeah, we should definitely make that plan happen, bro. This is the 30th episode. By the
30th,
way.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
30 episodes in.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe we could do it for a 50th episode special. No, that won't be.
That would be weeks
ages away. Yeah. That's 20 weeks. That's like almost half a year.
Yeah. We'll slip it in before then.
Yeah, we could.
So how was Dubai? How's things been since Dubai?
Bro, okay, things have not been good since Dubai.
Really?
Nah, not been good. Me and you went to Dubai with two different intentions, as you mentioned in the podcast. You went with the intention to like clean up your diet, and I went with the intention to like go all out because I'm on holiday. Yeah. And bro,
did you jump back on it when?
Yeah, I jumped back on my diet when I come back. But bro, I felt the like detrimental effect of having a week's worth of bad diet, like where you're literally eating Burger King, McDonald's, Hardee's every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And bro, for my first session back into the gym, I got a really, really bad back injury.
Really?
Yeah, and I haven't now trained for 2 weeks.
What were you doing?
So I was deadlifting, and I went
What
heavy.
weight were you? Yeah.
I was doing 140 kg, which is heavy for me, and but that's not the heaviest I've ever gone. And so so like my body has experienced that weight a few times now, so I wasn't feeling scared about it. But I had taken some time off gym because obviously I was in Dubai, and my diet was bad.
Yeah.
So my form was poor and everything, and it's just a accumulation of loads of things. But bro, I got 2 different injuries. I got back injury and I got shoulder injury, and you could probably say it's nothing related to the diet, but I think it's directly related to the diet because my body feels awful. I know how much. Alhamdulillah, it's getting a bit better, but it felt really bad. Like, I felt sluggish, out of breath. I wasn't. I didn't have the energy to train. Like, so there were so many negative effects. Mentally, I wasn't feeling right. And I was speaking to Ajmal that day. I said to him, bro, because he, as you probably know, Ajmal is like the most disciplined person I've ever met, and that's because of his training. But he's because being disciplined is a trait that can be expanded to anything. And so he was disciplined in his training, but because he was disciplined in his training, he's actually disciplined completely in life. Like, it's very easy for him to discipline himself. May Allah bless him. Like, you know, for us, discipline might be an issue. Maybe with salon, maybe with this, maybe that. He's very easily can discipline himself. And so he's very disciplined with his diet. And he was speaking to me about diet in a car that day and stuff. I was saying, bro, like, I can feel it, man. He was like, bro, like, that's how it works, man. It really has a bad effect on you. And then a couple of days later, I went to do my hijama, and the brother at the hijama was just amazing. And
how was that?
Bro, it was amazing. It felt so good. And that actually, so I told him about my injuries and stuff. He talked to me about diet. He said your diet does have a direct effect like that. And he basically has an extremely good diet. This brother, he's like a hench brother, but he has a very, very good diet. So he was basically speaking about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's diet. And what he was saying is that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was like what we would now call a flexitarian. So he said that there's been this like a positive movement of like people being watching like these documentaries like What the Health and all that kind of stuff, and people becoming like vegans and vegetarians. And he says it's a very, very good thing. However, the Prophet, peace be upon him, was not extreme in any way, not too extreme like vegan wise, not extreme in the other way. And so he would have, as you know, because you've told me enough times, that he would have meat, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, rarely, but he would still have meat, but mainly a vegetarian diet and that kind of stuff. And so he was basically this brother was promoting that diet to me and basically explaining the benefits. He told me to get on honey, so he gave me some honey, and I have that now every morning. I have
Would you put it with your tea or?
Honey with I have lukewarm water with honey, and it's really pure honey. It's not like the ones you get from Sainsbury's. It's one that he supplies.
Yeah, so 100% honey, no bashed up, nothing mixed.
It's some legit stuff, bruv. And then so I have that every morning, but 10 minutes before my food. And bro, man, I felt the effects of bad diet, and so I'm not on that stuff, man.
Yeah, you know what? Healthy body, healthy mind, and my diet hasn't been particularly fantastic, especially because in Dublin, like, struggled. I mean, you might have seen in my post, there's a lot of pizza and this, that, and the other. But yeah, you really feel it, man. It affects your mind as well. And when you're not training, not doing anything, it just brings you just down so many levels, doesn't it?
It's horrible.
So many levels.
It affects your training.
It affects your do you know what it is? It comes into your well-being. You have to think about what is your well-being is how you feel, isn't it?
It's what you fuel your body with, isn't it?
Yeah, your mental, your spiritual, your physical well-being. Like, you need to, like, constantly, like, with our spiritual well-being, we need to make sure that we're praying and we're doing dhikr and we're doing remembrance of Allah. That's our spiritual well-being. Physical well-being is making sure that we're training, and mental well-being, like, we're studying and we're using our minds, so we're learning new things constantly, whether it's deen or dunya related or whatever. And I'm not saying that I've got these 3 things locked, but when you have got these things locked, you can really feel like you're just up, aren't you? You're just like
you're looking good though, man. Do you feel good or not?
No, I don't feel good.
No, you've had a bad diet. But you've been back quite like a week now.
Yeah, it's been okay. I haven't done much training, to be fair.
Okay.
It's just been like a bit all over the place, to be honest.
But you know the type of training that you do, I really want to get into that. Like, I really, 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 for some reason recently, I felt like I really want to get into like doing like pad work and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so I've been training now from December probably, so January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 9 months, and I've seen like a big difference in my health and stuff, and I feel really good. I'm not intending to become a bodybuilder or anything of the like, but I just feel like good being healthy. However, 9 months in, I feel like switching it up a bit, and which is mad. It probably shows how like bored I get of things, because like Ajmal has been training in this way 4 or 5 times a week. No, sorry, 5 times a week in this exact same way for the last 10 years, and he hasn't got bored of it. So it just shows the level of boredom. But I really feel like doing like I love like seeing like that explosive pad work and like.
Do you do much cardio?
Nah, man.
Never.
Nah.
But what is the thing is we have different like goals and aims within our fitness, and you've gotten yourself in a good shape, mashallah. You've got bigger.
My goal is to get
what?
Bigger,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm certainly no expert, but definitely healthy to do some cardio.
Definitely
but you want to continue
cardio.
doing weights, isn't it?
Yeah, and cardio. You need to have cardio to do weights.
Of course, yeah.
Because you
don't bring. Is that not part of your routine at all? You literally walk in there and you're just lifting heavy.
Yeah.
Really?
So
what does Ajmal do?
What does he recommend? Okay, so
he must do cardio.
He does cardio. Yeah. He does. So he doesn't recommend me cardio really
because you always want to bulk.
Yeah, but he said if you do want to do cardio, you can. But he said just do a uphill walk.
Yeah.
And that's the most. And that's what he does.
Yeah.
As well. So because obviously
does he do that before he's eaten anything?
He does that after a workout. I think he does after a workout. He says, but sometimes he'll like, bro. You see the body like in that gym, yeah. You see bodybuilders come in looking hench as anything, and then they'll come in and they come in and just do an uphill walk on the treadmill for like an hour and they go.
That's it. Yeah,
they do like a whole day. They dedicate a whole day for that. So I do want to start that, but and especially because I see myself getting a bit like podgy and stuff as well. Yeah, I do. And I spoke to Ajmal about that. I was like, bro, I might start cardio. Because
you said you felt podgy before Dubai, did you?
Yeah.
Is that because what you're eating as part of your training? You're eating obviously a lot.
I'm eating a lot,
well.
yeah. So
is it always clean?
He's much cleaner than it used to be. Yeah, probably he's much cleaner than I used to be. Yeah, I'd say it's clean. Yeah, I'd say it's clean. And but I spoke to Ajmal about it, and I said to him, bro, for those of people who are listening who keep hearing me speak about Ajmal, he's a
silverback.
Yeah, man. He's a semi-famous now personal trainer and bodybuilder. He's the world's middleweight. He's middleweight world champion for natural bodybuilding. So no steroids, nothing. And he's like on Dean and stuff. Mashallah, may Allah bless him. If you can follow him on Instagram, silverback_AJ, and he trains me. And he said, yeah. I said to him, bro, I'm getting a bit podgy and stuff like that. I don't like it. I said I might start cardio. He goes, bro, if you start cutting now, because I said to him I might start like cutting. He basically so let me rewind it all the way back. So when I started training, I met Ajmal August 2016, yeah? So a year and 2 months ago. And I said, I want to start training. And he said, what's your goals, blah, blah. And I said, I felt I was really, really skinny. And I said, I want to get bigger, blah, blah. And I started training once, twice, and I was quite undisciplined with it. And I fell off it. And then when I came back from Gambia and that, I spoke to him again. I said, bro, I'm on this thing. And then I said to him, bro, I'm getting married in 2 weeks. I want you. My wedding's in 2 weeks. I want to get hench. He was like, bro, it's not possible.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's not possible to get hench in 2 weeks. But if you start now, like, let's like get in something. So from 2 weeks before my wedding, I started training properly. And since then,
how many times a week was that?
4 times a week.
Yeah.
And but each session is about 2 hours long. So 8 hours in a week training, and we started then. And so my goal was always been to get big. So originally then in December, he said to me, we're going to start bulking now, and then you're going to cut in just after Ramadan in July. So my goal was to get big, lift heavy, get big, and then start cutting in July. And then in July, he said to me, bro, I actually recommend you bulking for another year. He said even he does it sometimes, but he said, because I've just started, he said, get bulk for another year. So I haven't even started my cut. So I said to him the other day, like a few weeks ago, I said to him, bro, I want to start my cut now because I'm feeling really, please let me start my cut.
Months have gone by,
yeah. And he said no. Okay. He said, bro, if you cut now, he said, you will look like how you used to look, except you will look a bit more muscly, but you'll look like how you used to look. He's like, you need to get much bigger before you start cut. And I said, bro, but I'm getting a stomach and stuff. And he goes, bro, that comes with the bulk. That comes with the territory. He said, what you can do to like help that is like clean up your diet even more. So keep cleaning up your diet. Like there's definitely things about diet that I could clean up. So to clean up your diet more, but generally like that comes with the bulk.
So how do you feel? Do you want to cut or do you want to bulk? You sound like you want to cut a little bit.
I want to bulk, but I do want. I don't feel like.
You definitely have to go with what he says.
Yeah, 100%.
I was about to give you my opinion. You should definitely do a little bit. It's very healthy to do some nice cardio.
He did say that as well. He said that. He said do uphill walks.
Don't overdo it, innit?
Yeah, and
you're still lifting heavy weights. And you're not gonna get small, are you?
Yeah, you're still eating lots. Yeah, no, I'm gonna and you know he didn't say that it's bad for me. He said if I do uphill walks, I'm not gonna lose any.
Yeah.
He said if I do uphill walks, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna lose my fat and still carry on being able to maintain muscle. And that's exactly what I want to do. So if I listen to his advice, then
But you want to punch at something as well, don't you?
I want to punch something.
Yeah. It's very healthy to do that.
Yeah.
It's like in more ways than one. Like mentally, it's a very healthy way to start the day.
I want to do some pad work, man.
Yeah. Because you can just hit those pads as hard as you like.
I saw you hitting those pads. I was like, that's
you can obviously imagine like hitting whatever you want as well, which is
Yeah.
what I find very beneficial.
Whatever or whoever.
Generally, I think about shaitan as I just hit them. Like,
Mashallah, that's good.
Really, really do. Yeah, I was actually on the way up here thinking about investing on getting a punch bag in my back garden, just
Do
so
it, bro.
I could always
Do
have
it.
it. Yeah.
I've had one for years and it's the best
Do you
thing.
use
Yeah.
it, Red?
Yeah, and I could vouch for that as well. Just
Yeah.
hitting the pads, it's just the
Get
best
stress
feeling on
relief,
earth.
isn't it?
It's amazing. I used to do Thai kickboxing every
Is
Wednesday
it?
and Friday.
Easy.
So I used to do. I did Muay Thai for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, and it's the best feeling. Like it keeps you so well balanced, and it also like you think that it would, you don't pack on any muscle or anything, but I kid you not, it puts you through hell. So you start packing on muscle as well.
You've heard it here first. Get into Muay Thai. Would you do Muay Thai?
Probably not.
Why?
But I would have had work.
You used to be a boxer when you were younger, weren't you?
A really bad one.
Your experience though, isn't it?
But
You were
no,
in a boxing club and that, weren't you? I'm not even taking the mic. You told me when we were
yeah,
away.
we spoke about it on the podcast.
Yeah, was it
Yeah.
on the podcast?
Yeah,
I thought it was on
podcast. Everyone knows about me getting knocked out. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I want to do pad work stuff. So I want to switch up my training a bit, man.
Do you have much? Do you have much technical knowledge on boxing?
Nah, man, not really.
Not from. Don't remember it.
Nah.
I haven't either. I'm not going to say I have.
Bro, listen, I hate myself for saying this because I'm really getting into the conversation, but I really need to go to the loo. So we're gonna have to take a break.
Go on.
Back in the building with Big Faze and Sam. Sam, you seem a bit more chirpy this episode as opposed to last episode.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
No, I'm just saying that you seem good, man. You seem like you're in a good mood, good place mentally.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah. What? Was I not in a good mental space last episode? What? You actually think I was in a bad mood?
I don't.
So I saw the yeah. I actually didn't feel like I was in a yeah. It's good to have an episode where there's constant arguing. It was almost like everything you said. I was like, I don't agree with that.
No, but that's real, man.
How do you feel about Uber?
Sorry?
How do you feel about Uber now we're settled back in the UK?
Well, they're still around, aren't they?
Is it still around?
Yeah.
What's happening?
I think they're like appealing, and until they finish it, until they've like exhausted all appeal routes, they can still function.
So it still exists?
Yeah, it's still about.
Oh, fine.
I actually feel quite, worried about the situation. Anyway, listen. So, I think, bro, do you know what it is, bro? Like, when you make a commitment, like, for example, podcast, and we have a commitment to, like, push out episodes at certain times and stuff, you're always going to catch people when they're, like, at the most relaxed state. Like, bro, at that point, at that podcast that we did, the last one that we did together, bro, if we put it into context, you were in a state where you were there on two different business reasons. You had meetings the whole day, like you just finished a whole full day worth of meetings, and then we had to shoot an episode of Freshly Grounded. Like, we had normally, if, like, especially when we're out there, we had the freedom to be like, oh, bro, should we do it tomorrow? Because we're not in the mood. That day, we had to do an episode right there then. And I knew that you would have been like, you would have just, bro, when I finished a whole day's worth of work, bro, I am not in the mood to do a podcast, a YouTube video, nothing like. I spoke to Dowd, bro, like, I've been vlogging like most days. Yesterday, I was working so much. About 4 o'clock, I hadn't really shot anything. I said to Dowd, because Dowd comes in on Wednesdays, I was like, bro, I haven't got anything. I need to try and film something. But he was like, bro, you're not going to film something now. And then at 4 o'clock, bro, when I've done a majority of work, I'm not in the mood, bro. Like, so we had to do that episode because we had, like, that was our only chance to do it. So, yeah, we're not always going to catch it when we're, like, literally in the mood to, like, have banter and that kind of stuff. So it's calm, man. Like, and you weren't in a bad mood, I don't think.
I remember. You're right though. What you said. It was in the evening after a long day. And I remember. Yeah.
You had a very long day.
I
think we were flying out the next day.
We were.
And you still had things to do in the morning.
That's right.
So, like, I can imagine, like, Red, is there any tissues about? My nose is running. I think there's some over there, bro. Thanks, bro. Yeah, but I think people just like enjoy like the vibrance or like of us like having banter and stuff. So like if we have a serious conversation sometimes,
that's why it was just serious, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't. But all it was is that we were talking more seriously.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is good, bro. Like we need to have like a serious chat as well.
A bit more light-hearted today, isn't it?
It is a bit more light-hearted. Bro, I was listening to something on the way into work here. It was a podcast episode with Russell Brand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really intrigued to know your opinion on him and stuff. But anyway, let me go on. What he said he's always seemed to me like a person who's like a bit lost and stuff, like spiritually. Now, what he was saying in this podcast is he was basically saying that he's promoting his book. That's why he's like on media quite a lot right now. So he said he spent the first 40 years of his life trying out anything and everything to make him happy. So he's done money, women, drugs, alcohol, sex on an absurd scale, etc., etc. And he basically said in this episode, he said, I can now say that I've ticked off all of those things and none of them make me happy or satisfy me. So he said now he's doing a degree in university called religion and politics or something like that. And so he said he's still trying to find that thing, but he's very much into spirituality.
He's very spiritual, isn't he?
Yeah, and he believes in like a divine...
Yeah. He believes in God, but doesn't believe in religion as such.
Well, he doesn't understand. He doesn't know what it is. He's still looking for it. But
is quite open to say that, is he?
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah.
He said he doesn't know what he's looking. He said he's still looking for whatever it is. But he said that he's treating his life like a thing that he's ticking things off and realizing that that's not it. And he said he spent the first 40 years of his life realizing that it's not money, not drugs, not sex, not women. And so by way of like, what is it? Denomination? What is the word? Is that the word?
Yeah.
He's figured out that it's not those things. And bro, it reminded me so much of that Yusha Evans' story, where he basically, by way of by the same way, he looked into every single religion until like he found faults in it and then came to Islam. Mm-hmm. And when I was listening to his Russell Brand episode, I don't know too much information about his life, so I'm not going to go as far to say like one thing or the other about him. But what I will say is that when he was saying that stuff on podcast, in my head I was just thinking like, bro, like this is what Islam provides, but like everything you're saying sounds like you're looking for religion. But may Allah guide him.
I mean, he's been up there with he's been very spiritual for a few years, and he's done like loads of really, really good videos, and he always like highlights good things that are going on, like corrupt things. He very much talks about a lot of his not conspiracy. It is conspiracy. He always does videos, and he tears apart the media, and he's very much been on the forefront. So I've actually used his videos not for dawah or such, but to show people him highlighting certain corrupt things that go on. So he's kind of like I was listening to him and his videos for a while because he was doing like a really regular video. I can't remember what it was called.
It was called something about news.
Yeah,
it was like
and it
was called the Truth.
Yeah. Has he stopped that? Has he?
I think he has.
He was doing it very regularly.
That was powerful.
That was very good.
Yeah, that was really, really good. So I was engaged with that.
I just look into it as well.
I remember he did something about the Lindsay Lohan converted to Islam, and like he's defending her.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And he's the thing about he was taking the mick out of the Sun for Pizza Express have got halal chicken.
Okay, yeah, I remember.
And there was a huge epidemic with that, and he was taking the mick out of the fact that Sun, like how they betrayed halal. So he's very much, I wouldn't say he's necessarily a godly person. He's very spiritual, but he does. I also know that someone listened to something what he said, which actually turned him away from the thought of actually there being like a creator and a religion as such. So I'm not sure. I think he does do some good work in the sense that he does highlight a lot of interesting things, and he makes it very public that a lot of corruption goes on. I think it's great that he does that, but yeah, may Allah guide him to the correct and the only religion that really has no contradictions and makes perfect sense, which is the religion of Islam, man. So may Allah guide him.
I mean, yeah, because it's just interesting what he was saying, because a lot of people, I suppose, say stuff like, I wonder if this works, I wonder if that works, but we don't all get the chance to experience everything that our desire, and he's one of those people who's openly said, I've experienced everything that I thought could be it, and none of them were it.
Because he was
Over
a
40
heroin
years.
addict for a
He was a
long
heroin
time.
addict. He was a sex addict. He was a. There's loads of things. He's not allowed to, like, he's not, because he was basically saying in this podcast, he was with Joe Rogan, who's like really big on the whole ayahuasca and all that kind of stuff, DMT. And he was basically saying to Joe Rogan, he was like, I really want to go into this like DMT thing, but because of my addictions and stuff,
he stays away from everything.
I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed. So he stays away from it. Which is good because that stuff's just shaitan, man. But he's very much to look for truth. Now, Joe Rogan is also a person who is like really into this whole like spirituality stuff and stuff like that. And he also is like really, I believe he's really anti-religion. He's very anti-religion. Yeah. But he himself even said in his podcast when they were speaking to each other, he was basically saying about how he also is looking for the truth kind of thing. They were both agreeing upon, is agreeing even a word? They were both agreeing upon the fact that they're both trying to find the truth.
Really?
Yeah, they were trying to suss out life, and
so they weren't trying to pretend like they knew it all. They're very much saying we're still looking for the answer. Because Joe is quite anti.
Yeah, Joe normally comes across like he knows everything, and like how I've heard him say stuff about how like religion is just like a load of rubbish.
Ways to control
he's
people.
He's very outspoken upon like the opinion that religion is just a bunch of people following something that they created and stuff like that, which is he's very like that. Which is a real shame, to be honest. Man, like,
well, open his heart. That's what it comes down to, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
But when you're sincerely searching and you're sincere and your heart is open, you will find it, inshallah, man. If the qadr of Allah will bring you there. Like, if you're genuinely looking for the truth, and you start breaking it down, and you know, it's there. It's the guidance of Allah, man, at the end of the day, isn't it?
It's very interesting, though. It's very interesting listening to that.
Make dua for him, man.
I actually stopped listening to Joe Rogan's podcast. I just didn't find any benefit in him. And there's like a lot of profanity and all sorts. And
I've listened to. Do you know what? When I said that I've never before Fishy Grounded didn't know much about podcasts, it was only Joe Rogan podcast that I did know. And there's a couple. They're interesting. It's not something.
It's interesting to hear his point of view because he speaks on behalf, he almost represents like a notion of thinking that a lot of people think like.
Yeah.
Like the like semi-intelligent man who is pro positivity in quote marks, and pro, freedom, but however is actually very anti. It's somewhat very rude, like in regards to like religion and stuff.
He is, yeah. Yeah, we wouldn't promote him as an iman boost, is it? He's anti-religion.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know what's annoying? Because I've heard, when I say interesting, more going back to ayahuasca, DMT, all that kind of stuff, he's had some really, really amazing interviews with people, and he talks about it a lot. So that's interesting. But yeah, as soon as he has that anti-religion thing, it kind of makes me just put a wall up and think, what's the benefit?
And it's a shame because he's very influential as well.
But he's very spiritual. He's very, very spiritual. So it's
yoga.
Just like, and obviously the whole like the fact that he does this DMT the whole time is all about spirituality and whatever. But then he's so anti. I don't know whether he's anti-God necessarily, but he's definitely anti the.
He's anti like the notion of people thinking I've specifically heard him say something that I was really offended by, and it was something along the lines of like, that religion is just a bunch of people who all think they know the truth, but it's all like created by man. It's just such a shame to hear, man. Like,
I often hear that. There is a whole new wave over the last few years of that. A lot of people claim that they're spiritual and they're aware of their spiritual self and stuff, but they're so anti there being like a divine truth and a God as such, and they're actually very anti it. And it's actually
a contradiction.
Yeah, of course, massive contradiction. Like, it's massive contradiction. I never really understood it, but simply it's the guidance, isn't it? Whether you're guided to the truth or not. That's what it comes down to. But it's almost cool to be spiritual now. People talk so much about spirituality, but what's the point in talking about spirituality if you haven't really like figured out that you are a soul and a spirit, and that's
Yeah, very interesting.
But you can't sit there and say, these people don't know the truth. We've just, alhamdulillah, we've been guided to the truth. But it's like, I actually listened to something that spirituality, people who claim they're spiritual, is actually the religion of the devil. and it all comes
Really?
from shaitan. Yeah, which is so true. Like, do you know what? I won't go into it too much because I don't want to offend anyone, but it is quite true. I know a lot of people who claim they're spiritual, but the thought of talking about God and a religion and prayer and stuff is like almost laughed at and mocked at.
It is, bro. It is
yeah.
really laughed at. Mocked at. It's like being a spiritual person, but like having like your subjective understanding of spirituality, which like I don't know, because we're taught, yeah, that like with spirituality, it's not a subjective thing. There's one way to like worship. There's one understanding of it, and if it was like very subjective and there's loads of different ways, then it wouldn't really make any sense. It wouldn't really get anywhere. I don't know, man. It's
easy for us to just
of course,
from our point of view.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's why I've got to be careful, because even people I know who follow other religions and are very passionate about that, and they're upon their religion. When it comes to the fact that I'd pray 5 times a day and all this and it comes down to Tawheed, it's like almost no, and it's laughed at, which is. But then again, it's not. We can't think that we're anything special or
exactly.
and criticize people. It's just end of the day, like, alhamdulillah, we've been guided, and that's really it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because Allah's the one who he's in control of the heart so much, and if it's up to him whether he gives us Islam or it doesn't. Am I right?
Yeah. Very, very right.
Yeah. So I'm definitely not sitting here and mocking people who claim they're spiritual and they haven't quite figured it out, because it's not like that. But there's a thing going on now which is called spirituality. And it really just comes from shaitan and the devil. Simple as that.
Boom.
Want to switch it up?
Let's switch it up. Should we go into some current events?
Go on.
It's a bit early, but I think we've got so many current events, because I've been sending Red current events all day as well. Normally Red does all the current events himself, which he does normally do. But I've imposed myself upon him, which he's probably really annoyed about.
No.
But I found some
I'm
really
not,
cool.
I'm not annoyed at all, because you've actually found some really interesting stories.
Yeah, and I haven't read any of them properly.
Look how mature Red looks.
Very mature.
I've seen you grow since I've known you. You look really mature and good.
I kind of regressed in uni, and then in first year of uni, second year, I used to dress like this and be like how I was, but now I changed
smart
in the middle. Thank you.
Current events. We got into it really early today, so
your suggestion.
well, we can slowly analyze each and every article. We got an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
All right. So
Red one. You did your red
I
one.
want to start off on a
Mister, you're talking over me again.
on a funny note. I don't know how I'm not married yet, so I can't relate. But you both are.
We are two married gentlemen, aren't we, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Samuel.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were right.
There's nothing false about that statement. Alhamdulillah.
I don't know what to take from that tone, though.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't. That was so confusing.
I know. It confuses you sometimes.
Or like sarcasm, like a bitterness. Yep, we're married. It's great. Let's move on. Alhamdulillah, we are married. It's one of the most beautiful blessings Allah can bestow upon a person.
No, alhamdulillah, I see it in both of you, and I wish to be in your position as well. So,
Inshallah, man.
A man got so fed up of his wife's nagging that he went to live in the woods for 5 years.
Someone give this man a medal.
So how can you relate? Can you guys relate?
No comment, man.
Let's read it. So what does the article say?
So the story says that he used to be a gardener.
Yeah.
And the more hours he stacked up in work, funny enough, like me and Sam were just talking about that, about having balance in your life. But the more hours he stacked up, the angrier his wife got, and he got so sick of how angry and frustrating she was.
Hold on, sorry. The more he worked, the more angry she got.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the angrier she got, the more he worked, the angrier she got. And what he started doing then
Sounds like a very
is lying to his wife, and he started spending his evenings doing gardening for an old people's home.
Okay.
In the woods, and he eventually ended up living there and actually splitting up with his wife.
Oh, so they're not together anymore?
No, they're not together anymore.
I mean, yeah, true. Like, why would she stay with you if you've left her for 5 years?
In the woods of all places.
Yeah.
But I think it was the other way around. I think.
Oh, he left her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very extreme.
What would drive you to do that? What would drive you guys?
A nagging wife. Now that's extreme.
That is very extreme.
Extreme. End of the day, this common phrase that you can't live with them, you can't live without them.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes that applies.
Yeah,
it does
man.
apply for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't know why I'm
can't-
promoting
can't-
Costa here.
I know it's strange. I know it's weird. Can't live with them. Can't live without them. I think can't live without them is very, very true. And really, you can live with them. You just have to learn. And it's something I'm working on. Literally this week, I had a very big conversation with my father, of all people, that you have to just let things go. You have to just let things go.
You have to, bro.
And I can't
That's
do
the best
that.
thing you said.
Yeah, you have to let things go. And it's something that Josh said to me a few years ago. He goes, and is the argument, are we here forever? Is the argument going to be here forever? No. So just let it go. And you
Bro,
have
as you said that, I
easier
imagine
life.
that in Josh's voice.
Yeah, he
I
said
love
and it's
Josh.
so true. He acts by that. And it's something that I'm giving advice
Wait,
to
repeat
people.
that again, what he said?
I think I had just been in a situation, and he was the advice he'd given me was that he goes, "Are we here forever? Is the argument going to last forever? No, so just let it go." And it's true. Like, put it in perspective. But yeah, that's I think as a man, I would give advice for the brothers and listening. You know, you can't always keep everyone happy. Just let it go. Sometimes, if your missus is nagging you because you've
Let it go, don't let her go.
let it go, don't let her go, because you're going to get a life, an easier life, and that's really, that's what we want. And happy, you know what they say, happy wife, happy life. So let it go, big face, let it go. You're just going to put the caps and stuff on the desk now?
No, I'm going to put my head.
On your head?
Yeah, you look really so good in a hat on your head that I decided to put one on as well.
You remember you used to put them here, 59 cups were
Yeah,
here?
you used to put 59 cups there and then you just...
Yeah, and I brought so many, and I was wondering where they all gone.
Sam, you'd be an amazing promoter for Frozen.
Frozen?
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
What is that?
I kept saying let it go,
Oh.
and I almost broke into song.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I want to respond to what you were saying, Sam, because we do have time.
Yeah, we do have
Because
time.
we went into current events really early. So what I'll say is, alright, so hold on. You said you can't live without them.
Can't live with them. You can't live without them. A happy
No,
life.
this is what you said, bro, which
it
I
go.
really related to. You said this. You said you have to let things go,
Yeah.
bro. Listen to this. This is advice that a brother gave me, yeah. And it was so true. No, he did actually give me this advice. So I was in a circle with it was me and this brother, and then there was there were two non-married brothers who were looking for marriage, yeah, and they kind of asked for advice to this brother that was next to me, yeah, well, to me and the brother, and the brother gave a better advice than I could ever give. Yeah, this is what he said, and I want to hear your opinion on it. He said, when you're looking for marriage, focus on 95% of the stuff and ignore 5%. Yeah, so like, focus on like, does she? Let me try and think of an example. Like, I can't think of something, but like focus 95% on the stuff and ignore 5% of the stuff. Yeah, and then once you're married, ignore 95% of the stuff and focus on 5% of the stuff. That's what he said. Yeah, so like, if she has a shortcoming, if you're looking for marriage, you're looking to marry her, and she has a shortcoming, you should focus on that, and like, because you should think about like, do I want to marry a woman who has this? Like, will it affect my marriage? But once you're already married to her, you have to like, you can't. It's not a solution to just divorce someone every time. Like, if there's a negative thing, because otherwise, look how many negatives we have as well, bro. I'd say I have more negatives than my wife does, probably. Do you know what I mean? So that's not a right way to look at it. So once you're married, ignore 95% of stuff and like focus on 5%. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yeah.
What do you think of that advice?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. What, as in, so when you are married, you focus on, you let 95, I'm not trying to bring the let it go thing back in.
Yeah. No, not let it go as in like, oh, like if she's like committing haram, like don't bring her up on it. But like, alright, for example, yeah, if this is a perfect example, I was trying to think of something where like I'm not looking at something like impermissible, but something that's recommended. So here's an example. Let's say before you marry, she says that she doesn't pray any of her sunnah prayers, yeah. Mm-hmm. Before you're married, maybe look at that woman and be like, do I want to marry someone who like, doesn't like care so much for like praying the sunnah and that kind of stuff, like it's an important thing to me, blah blah. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to marry a woman who maybe like teaches the kids about the importance of sunnah, etc., etc. But once you are married, and let's say she doesn't pray her sunnah, it's more of a case of like, making excuses for her and being like, Alhamdulillah, nah, I don't want to say that because that's quite like a strong thing. Do you get what I mean though? Like making excuses for a person like once you're married for them?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
I
hard.
do. I get the gist of the statement.
Yeah.
I get the gist of the statement.
It's basically what you're saying, like,
Don't look for perfection because it doesn't exist.
I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore. My wife's granddad gave very good advice when we got married, yeah. And he said, marriage is a lot about sacrifice and give and take, and like, and ignoring things here and there, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Let it go.
We've rinsed the discussion, haven't we?
I think we've.
Don't
Move to the woods.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Okay.
Next one, Red.
Next piece.
It's the best advice I've ever given.
I went to the woods.
Don't move to the woods. Just let it go.
So
Especially got children as well, man. The woods is no place for
Do you
children.
reckon he has children?
I don't know what's best. I hope not.
what?
We'll just speak about my brother who went to the woods.
I watched a Louis Theroux documentary last night
Yeah.
about the heroin epidemic.
I was about to watch that. It was on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah,
It's
that's
good.
right. Yeah, so but there's a community who lived in the woods, heroin addicts who lived in the woods, and you know Louis Theroux's interviewing the guy. He was high at the time, on heroin, and was basically just arguing for his existence and how happy he was with the lifestyle that he's chosen. He said because he lived in the woods in a tent. He sold heroin as well. So he was never someone who was looking for it. It was always there. So he basically his argument and what he was saying was, this is the perfect life for me. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to deal with all that kind of stuff. I want to just remain high the whole time. And he almost sounded convincing. And then Louis Theroux was chatting to him another day, and he obviously maybe wasn't as high or whatever. And Louis Theroux was kind of really asked some questions about his personal life. It turns out the guy had a child that he's given,
really?
and he was saying how much. And he started being a bit more real when he was talking about how much he loved him, and then realizing that he doesn't have this child in his life because of his addiction that he has. And he was almost like, the first time interviewing him, he was just, because maybe because he was under the influence, but he was just basically saying, this is exactly the life I wanted. I'm happy the whole time, this, that and the other. When it really broke down and he actually got asked the questions, and it almost like it was a realization that he was living in the woods with a needle hanging out of an affected arm. It was just crazy. It was really crazy. I'd recommend watching it, man. Louis Theroux, the heroin epidemic. It's very, very sad. And you see it's a whole other world that exists. There's been a couple of things on BBC and even Channel 4 as well about this like addictions all over, even in the UK. And there was one about like the Valium epidemic in Glasgow. So it's Scottish, these guys who are addicted to Valium, which is almost like, do you know what Valium is? It's like a very intense, like almost like a sleeping tablet, and it's a relaxant. And this guy, like his life was that he would find a dealer that would sell him like 25 of these pills, and he would eat almost like 25 of these pills, and would just turn into a vegetable, like dribbling, and
really?
It was just like wasn't even there. And it's just like, and these guys, they go around interviewing and looking at these people's lives, and it's just like it's a real sad, like the way of life is just like you wake up and you go and get whatever you need, and you don't talk to anyone, and you're just almost like you're like a vegetable inside a room. Just no, it was sad, very, very sad, man.
It's like it's like temporary fake happiness while you're high,
While you're high,
and then long-term detrimental effects.
But these people, like, if you choose that lifestyle and you choose to go down that road, really coming back out of it is almost impossible. Like, these people, like, you lose everything. You lose your family, you lose everything around you. So, and you get so addicted to this, whatever the substance is, there's not really much going back. So you've chosen a road of like self-destruction, and you're gonna, generally, some people, alhamdulillah, you see people. In fact, there was a guy in the salon the other day. He used to be a heroin addict, and now he's a drug counsellor.
Wow.
And it was, alhamdulillah, it does happen. And he's someone obviously now who's putting back in the community and counselling people who have addictions. But more times than not, it's generally like once you've chosen that path, there's sort of there's one ending for it, and it's never really a good one. Do you know what I mean?
Downward spiral, right?
Yeah, of course. It's very sad, very, very sad. And it's all generally like these people's stories. It's like they never just tried whatever it is on an off cuff. It's like the guy who I was just talking about who lived in the woods. he was in a really severe car accident. So he had to take these painkillers because his whole body was, and it went. And then I think he explained to the doctor that he was addicted to them, so the doctor cut him off. So the guy was then left just in this agony. So he kind of went from these painkillers to then opium, heroin, to deal with it, to deal with his injuries, and that's how he went down that road. It's almost like he has a valid reason why. I'm not saying he had a valid reason why he started using drugs, but he was in such agony from this accident. That's what happened to him. It's very sad.
He went into it.
He didn't go into it thinking I'm going to be a heroin addict. He went into it thinking I need to treat myself because I'm in agony. So the opium, whatever, was something that was a pain relief. Do you know what I mean? So it's not always the case of these people. We can't even with homeless people. I see people be so rude and raw about homeless people, like they need to get up and go and get a job. Well, 8 times out of 10, it's not necessarily the case that they can.
And you have to know the story.
You have to know. There's some people I imagine who just couldn't be bothered with life and they've just chosen just to be a bum, as they say, and not do anything. There's a lot of people out there who are really in these really, really severe, bad states that they haven't necessarily chosen. It's just something that's happened to them, and I think we need to be really conscious of that, and it's important, like in our own communities, to try and like fix these things, because it's really sad, man. It's very, very sad.
I agree. I actually did a series of photographs of people that be on the streets. I never released them because I didn't really like the social implications that it would have. Like it might have almost glamorized like the whole not doing anything. Yeah. I don't know, it just didn't feel right, so I didn't put it out. But having interviewed some of the people, some of them couldn't even answer. Some of them had no answer and they just didn't really want to talk about it. Doesn't necessarily mean that they haven't been through anything, but most of them were there for a reason. I know one guy was there for a reason. He pretty much ruined his career, and so the only thing he could do was bask on the streets and perform on the streets. And people don't realize that. People think too critically and think they see through everything, but it might not be the case.
You can't make the judgment.
Nah.
Like I said, I'm sure there's people who have just got a really terrible work ethic and just think, I give up, I can't bother to do this, and choose that route. But that's no option to take, is it? Like that. There's no longevity with the streets, man. So yeah. You're about to go into your second topic. I took it back to the woods. I started talking about the
That's all right. That's cool.
Now, rate that. I'm just not saying anything because I agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah. It's sad. It's sad. It's touched me because I watched it last night and it was like I kind of went to sleep thinking about it.
What's it called? I'll have a look at it.
Louis Theroux, it's heroin epidemic or something like that.
If you go to BBC iPlayer and you click most popular, it's on that list because it's
news.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Louis Theroux, I don't know if you've watched much of his work.
Yeah, I watched a lot of his work.
He is incredible. Like he is really, really incredible in the sense that he goes into these mad situations and asks the most like these questions that he asks.
I was about to say that.
He comes through like he doesn't really come across like he's got a huge amount of like opinions on it. He's very much there just to do a documentary, but he will sit there.
Have you seen the way he asks questions?
I know,
it's so
they're
funny.
incredible. I love it. I think he's amazing, man. Even like when he goes to the Nazis' house in America, and just when he asks these questions, like it trips people up because he asks it with like such a monotone way.
Yeah, such a like almost patronizing way.
Patronizing.
Yeah.
It is patronizing. Yes. One of the questions he asked the guy who was the guy in the woods, he goes, "What are you shoving into your scab there?" And guy was doing whatever he had to do with the thing, but just how he asked the questions is just
it's demoralizing.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah.
What's the next current event, Reg?
I'm liking the whole like social aspect of today's discussion, so I'll just keep it on that. There is a really fast rise in children being obese in the UK at the moment. In 1975 it was 2.6 million, now it's like 4.95. I mean,
wow,
it's difficult to read that because obviously there's been a substantial increase in the world's population, but this is just within the UK.
Okay.
Okay. Now, like, parents find it really difficult to tell their children that they're fat. It's what it comes down to, really. So how would you... I don't want to...
How would you tell your kid?
How would you tell your kid? Imagine Zayden was about 4 or 5 years old, and you can see that he's clearly larger than most of the children that you go to school with.
Wait, is it 4 or 5 years, or is it like 10, 11, 12, 13?
It's around between 3 to 5. So they start off and they continue on to be having that, having that same lifestyle. So
whose fault is it that these children of this age are that fat?
Okay, it comes down to a lot of things. One thing is genetics.
Yeah,
so
but
if
you can be genetically.
you can be genetically overweight, because if your parents and your family lineage has that genome, then you're just gonna take that on. But I think now more so is because of the foods that we eat and the promotion of like fast foods and so on. Like
all the food generally that we have got free access to, generally is bad for you. Generally, the diet that we are aware of now is so different from, let's say, 100 years ago, say 200 years ago, 300 years ago. Like we go for fast food because it's convenient, and we use it as an excuse that it's convenient, and we do need convenience in our fast-paced life. But even if you go into, say, you go into Boots or Marks and Spencer's, and you go and buy a sandwich, a fizzy drink, and a pack of crisps, which is generally they're one of their meal deals they offer. Yeah, £3. That's is it £3, yeah? That's like obviously there's the worst things you can have, but that's not even that's really no good. That's really no good for you.
Sandwich, crisps, and a drink.
It is really no good for you, because generally it's a fizzy drink. The amount of calories and sugar in that fizzy drink, all the calories in the crisps. Okay, the sandwich is, again, even having the sandwich isn't great in the scale of things.
White bread's not good.
No, it's not. Generally, sandwiches aren't that great. Like they really aren't. So the way things are going, I think it's only going to get worse, because all these massive corporations who control all our food industries, all our industries, like their only thing they're concerned about is money.
Of course, yeah.
So I have a feeling that it's only going to get worse, and diet and nutrition for kids will probably get worse unless the parents take responsibility in actually educating the children what is right and what is wrong. So I personally feel it's down to the parents, and it's the parents' responsibilities to, if they're not getting their education about nutrition at school, that they educate them themselves, and they ensure that they're sent to school with a packed lunch of goodness, opposed to a packed lunch full of wrappers, full of sugar, this, that, and the other. Because although the children might desire that lunch with all the the not so great stuff, it's no good for them. It's really, really no good for them. So I personally feel like it's down to the parents to educate and monitor what the children are doing, until they get to the age of when they go to secondary school. Almost like the children have to decide then what you're going to get for your lunch or this kind of stuff. But it's about educating them, and like if you educate them correctly from young, I can't see there shouldn't be as much problems. But I have a at the same time, I do feel like that we are really, really poorly educated as a society on nutrition and what is good for us and what is not good for us.
Sam's coming out with that fire today, Red.
Yeah, I think because I choose between me and my wife, we choose everything that Zayden eats. It's our decision, so it's our responsibility to make sure that everything we're giving him has got some sort of goodness and some value to his nutrition.
Right.
So I mean, I'm a bit softer on it. I love to give him a little bit of chocolate and that, just because it makes him happy and stuff. My missus doesn't do it. And I think it's good, because if he doesn't desire chocolate, he doesn't ask for chocolate, he doesn't even know what chocolate is. He loves it, obviously, when it's given to him. But if you can actually monitor and give him things that it's only going to be good for him, his well-being, his body, and his longevity, that's what it should be. So it's our responsibility. So recently, although I still have normal milk on occasion, we've kind of said, look, let's just scrap giving him. In the morning, he has his Weetabix. Scrap giving him that dairy milk, because it's not good for him.
Good for you, yeah.
So I've replaced it with oat milk, and I mix oat milk, coconut milk for his Weetabix. So
that's nice.
My thinking, inshallah, that we're going to monitor it and educate him, so he will know actually those chocolate bars, those packs of crisps, those sweets is actually really, really bad for me and how I'm going to feel. That would be us doing our bit of just trying to educate him on nutrition. And this is me speaking slightly hypocritical, because I will eat junk and rubbish and crisps, etc. as well. But I do feel like when I was younger, I don't think that. I mean, my brother and sister were all a bit chubby looking back in pictures, and that was down to the fact that we would have eaten well, to be honest. And I'm not criticizing my parents like what they gave us, because it was But I feel like I'm going to be a bit stricter for Zayden, and not to be a harsh parent, just to be a good, because what's good for him is what matters. So really, I need to implement on him that what you put in your body is either going to have a good effect or a bad effect, and everything that we put in our body, we want a good effect, don't we? That's what I really try and have fruit and veg in the day, because when you have those nutrients in your body, you can feel it. It's simple as that. Although when you go and get like a vanilla Coke, lovely, that taste is lovely, but I can guarantee later you're not going to feel good for it. So I think it's about really implementing and brainwashing that really this is what you have to stick by if you want to feel good. And it's all about feeling good and making sure that you feel good, look good, and nutrition and diet is where it starts, as we said at the beginning.
But let's just, with that all being said, let's say...
I knew you were going to come through with something. Go on.
Yeah, I'm going to come through with that. Listen, yeah, let's say, for example, yeah, you've taught your kid. I'm not going to say Zayden here because that's a very personal thing, yeah? I don't want to go so much into like saying, oh, what if Zayden is... Oh, let's make up a pretend kid, yeah? We're going to call your pretend kid...
Alfie.
Yeah, I met an Alfie the other day.
Good for you. Carry on.
So he was Asian as well. An Asian guy called Alfie.
Was his real name?
I don't know. I just walked to the shop and I said, "Hey man, sorry, what's your name?" He goes Alfie, and I was like, "Huh?" Anyway, listen, yeah. So your kid Alfie, you've raised Alfie just as well as you raised Zayden, yeah? Yeah. Alfie's on Alpro milk and that kind of stuff. Now Alfie's at the age now where he's independent. You can't always choose what he eats. He's out and about. You don't know what he's doing when he's out and about. And he's going for a bit of a rough patch, and he's decided to use food as his comfort. Alfie's got a bit chubs. He's now, let's say, 15 years old, 14, 15 years old. You got a chubby kid. How do you tell Alfie, mate, listen here, you need to lose a few pounds?
I wouldn't be afraid to do that.
How would you approach the conversation?
I'd probably go up to him, pinch his gut, and say, "Do you want to go for a run, Alf?" Real talk.
No, but you can't kill his confidence. That age
that's what the article's about. The article's about destroying your child's self-esteem.
Yeah,
but he not going to just Alfie and whoever is going to destroy their own self-esteem by being fat? So sometimes harshness is the best.
Sometimes fat people are the happiest. Like, look how many fat comedians there are.
Are they really happy though? That's a silly thing to say. Are they
funny.
Really happy? They might be funny, but they're happy. And guarantee from experience, gaining weight does not, other than muscle mass, mashallah, will not make you happy. In fact, it does the opposite. I'm sure that we all, between the three of us, we've all packed on a little bit of pounds at some point in our life and thought, I feel rubbish. My clothes don't fit me well. My appearance when I look in the mirror, I don't look as good. And I don't feel good. So, real talk, if you're fat, and that's a lot of people this day and age, because obesity, like, is actually quite scary. That actually people who are classed as obesity, it's not even by sitting there with a huge gut out. I can guarantee if you're listening now and you have a few extra pounds, you don't feel good about it. And really, if you shift those pounds, inshallah, may Allah give you the ability to do that, you will feel so much better. And from experience, from someone who used to weigh a lot to losing a lot of weight, that is something that does give you joy and happiness.
It gives you a lot.
Did I tell you when I was like 14, I went to doctors and the doctor told me that I was obese for my age?
Didn't say that,
didn't I?
Nah. But then, did you look big, or you just have a little bit extra puppy fat?
But maybe no one ever told me I was fat, so maybe I didn't look fat. But I hated my body. I would look at myself in the mirror and feel so upset.
Really?
Yeah, because I had like a gut and moobs, and I'd be so upset myself. And I'll never forget that doctor's appointment because it was so like impactful in my life. I stood on the scale and she was like, "You're like." Technically
obese.
For your age, you're obese. Yeah. Like because I didn't look fat, but technically
that's what I'm saying. When I say like obesity is not about the person sitting there with a huge gut.
Yeah, obesity is not like you can't get up and walk.
Like it's just by having that. And do you know how bad it is and how much it increases our the risk of diabetes and stuff like. And I'm being hypocritical because I've definitely got some pounds that I should be shifting. But like it's a massive health risk. And because we're in the day and age now where there's fast food everywhere and everything's eating culture and everything like. It almost gets dismissed, but Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he never had any fat on his stomach. He had a flat stomach, and we look at the examples with a lot of the prophets; they were all in very, very good shape. Now, this is as standard that we should be looking after our bodies. It's so important what we put in and what we do with it. So, we don't want to be harsh to our children, but if we can see that they're clearly putting on weight. What's the lesser of two evils? Maybe sticking it on them in a nice way, just
pinching Alfie's fat,
pinching Alfie and going, rather than letting him go down the direwolf spot. If you're comfort eating, trust me, you'll be happy as you've got those crisps in your mouth and you've got that chocolate in your mouth. But as soon as that you've swallowed it and relaxed, you're not going to feel any better. So I think sometimes harshness is the best remedy.
Bro, I might have mentioned this on the podcast before, but when I was that fat, and I hate using the word fat because for me, I know it's just a word and it means fat because like when you eat, you put fat on, but it just sounds so like strong. And I know we're gonna have listeners listening who like I'm still body conscious. You're body conscious. Like, and I'm sure, Red, are you body conscious?
I'm not body conscious.
Take your top off then and trousers off.
Huh?
Take your trousers and top off then.
Don't do that, Red.
Do it.
Why?
If you're not body conscious.
If you're not body conscious, do it. Take it all off.
I just don't want people that don't know me.
Okay, fine.
Okay, fine.
See me. I don't really care.
After we finish.
My point is, that we're going to have listeners who might be body conscious right now. So I don't want this, like what we were just speaking about, to offend anyone.
Yeah, I was literally going to say,
what
just after Sam was said, I just wanted to put out a disclaimer that obviously none of us are advocates of like labeling bodies or anything.
Our
we're just talking
us,
purely from a scientific perspective and talking about numbers and data. Like nothing, there's nothing of the sort, and it's just
And the reality is that I'm sure there's people listening who this topic has maybe got their attention because it's a reality that we all and the amount of people I know in the salon and throughout are so everything is. But everyone's body conscious. The body is you. It's your vessel. It's you. So we're all aware of it, and we're all like, and we should all be trying to make improvements to ourselves. And it's not just, you know what I mean. I used to be quite overweight, and I went for a period of, and I lost a lot of.
Showed me.
I remember, I'll show you a picture. I lost a lot of weight in that period of time, but that was like the best thing I ever did because like it's about taking control and actually like understanding that. Comfort eating and being lazy is just actually drives you to depression and feeling terrible. So that's what I'm trying to like. That's when I talked about pinching Alfie and calling it and doing that about Alfie. It's like if you see someone going on that downward spiral with wisdom and with kindness, we should try and push them in the other direction. So
it's true.
Isn't that true though?
Yeah, it's true.
Because if you let someone just carry on getting whether it's bigger or lazy and lazier, I mean that is self-destruction as well.
Bro,
you were saying?
Yeah, what I was saying is that when I then decided, look, I need to lose weight because I feel really unhappy in my body. It was my first year of sixth form, and I knew I was making a big change in my life, and that I'm going to this new sixth form that no one's ever seen me at. It'd be nice for me to like have a bit of confidence. So I finally decided I'm going to start going to the gym and losing weight. And bro, everyone was telling me that you can't lose weight by just running. And bro, I did two things. I stopped eating biscuits and fizzy drinks completely.
Eating fizzy drinks.
Drinking fizzy drinks, and I ran. That's what I did. 4 times a week, I'd go to the gym and I'd run for 40 minutes. That's it.
And
no weights, and lost it all.
Yeah, same. That's exactly what I did, man.
Running does help.
Running, cardio.
I didn't do any weights, nothing. Just ran for 40 minutes, 4 times a week after school.
Strange enough, exactly what I did.
And I lost weight.
Yeah.
So between the ages of 20 and 22, I experienced the most personal growth because I actually lost a crap ton of weight as well. I was obese as hell. Like I have pictures from when I was 18, 19 where, you know, I had full on man boobs and, you know, the belly and everything. I'm slowly regressing towards that again, so I need to take care of myself. But 20 to 22 is when I started running. And I used to like, even in the freezing cold in the mornings, I'd put on my Superdry jacket. Underneath the jacket, I'd wear a bin bag so I'd lose all water weight, sweat like hell.
Yeah.
And I did that for a good solid 2 months and I lost everything. I was the fittest that I've been in my life. My mental health was at its peak. My physical health was at its peak, and you know I was tons better at football, whatever you name it. But then after breaking the leg, kind of like regressed back into how I used to be, and I feel like I'm going there now. But I like seeing you guys and having this discussion. It's like almost putting me back into that mindset where I need to get back into it.
Healthy mindset.
Yeah, healthy mindset.
Point being, cardio
works.
Cardio does work.
Cardio does work.
We all could do it more, to be honest. We're speaking like we're so like we have the best bodies. Like we all suck when it comes to health and fitness.
I know, big time.
Everyone here. But a high intensity as well, man. I used to get on the treadmill, I remember. No, I used to run to the gym and then run back as well. And while I was at the gym, I'd do high intensity as well. So I'd be on the treadmill and I'd do like incline runs.
Red, you're crazy.
It was crazy. It was so amazing. And then I even started doing runs where I'd have weights on my ankles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just going ham with it. And then like my ability in football went so high. My best mate was like, "What the flip? Like, how did you get so good?" And I was like, just running, man. So run, people. Just run.
With weights on your
weights on your
ankle and bin bags.
What? And watch that movie, Run Fat Boy Run. That's a good movie.
That is a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It was a good movie.
What's the next current event, Red One?
That being said, I'm really enjoying my vanilla Coke.
Yeah, he's vanilla Coke.
The next one is about augmented reality.
Ooh, AR.
Yeah, actually, wait. There's two pieces of news. They kind of go hand in hand, so I might as well put them together. So
Okay.
John Lewis has basically just sacked sat-navs from the from the shelves. So they don't sell sat-navs anymore.
No
and
more sat-navs.
It's almost like the start of the decline of sat-navs. So like TomToms are going to be completely off the market
Really?
soon, I reckon. Yeah, man, because we got Waze, Google Maps, and everything now. You know,
Everything there.
Everything there.
Who needs?
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you reckon cars will stop having sat navs put into their?
I reckon they would. I mean, for me, I'd rather have a car, the front space in a car used for something else than a sat nav.
What would you like in the front space of a car? Be honest. If you could design the car, what would you have there?
Ooh.
Coke machine?
Vanilla Coke machine.
Yeah, I probably would have a vanilla Coke machine. I would.
Instead of a sat nav.
Instead of a sat nav, yeah. I'm kind of an
It eradicates our entire discussion
Yeah.
we just had.
Yeah.
or no, just maybe a little coffee maker.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
that'd be good.
I like that.
Maybe like a 59 Express machine.
Yeah, because I often in the mornings I don't have enough time to grab myself a coffee from home and
So you
just
can make
jump
the
outside
coffee
and
as
make it
you're
on the
driving.
way to work.
Like that.
That'd be amazing, right?
Maybe you could put like a whole kitchen in there.
Yeah.
Cook some breakfast.
Yeah.
You could
I
do
think
your
they
full-
already
you
did
could
that
do
on
your
top.
full routine, mate.
Yeah, probably.
Almost.
Yo, I think that the cars are going to change so much. Yeah. So obviously we're going to the point. We're going to the idea of driverless cars now. So obviously in a few years' time, maybe not in our lifetime, or maybe right towards the end of our lifetime, because we're getting on now. But towards the end of our lifetime, I'm like 99% certain that all cars will not ever need a driver and everything will be driverless. Yeah. So that means that cars are going to completely change. Cars aren't going to be like what they look like now, like with a driver's seat, a passenger seat, and two back seats. Like, I feel like what a car will look like is, you know like the London Eye where it's just like a booth and there's like seats all around it. I feel like that's what cars look like. So the outside of the car might look the same, but I feel like the inside of a car will be like, imagine a car, but imagine inside is empty shell, and it would just be like a booth, or like the booths in Nando's, like just an empty like sofa like goes all around, because you don't need to do anything because the car is driverless. So the car will more so you have different. I reckon there'll be different types of cars. Like for business people, there'll be cars where it'll be like you go inside and it's like a desk and you sit at your desk and you can work. There'll be Wi-Fi in your car, and like basically it's just a thing that you go in, you sit in until you get to your destination. I feel like you could get family cars where it's more like there's different sections. There'll be like for like really rich people, there'll be like big like a car like the size of like a van, and like there'll be bathroom in there, there'll be bedroom in there, because all you're gonna need to do in the car is actually just go inside it and then come back out when you're at your destination. I reckon that's the point we're gonna get to. So the
I don't
design
think
of
so.
cars will completely change.
I disagree. Because I feel
This
like
is my podcast, man.
I feel like it would have already come to that. But
Because
there's
cars
too many.
aren't driverless yet, like properly. Like obviously there are driverless cars, but like I'm saying that the notion of cars will change completely. Like people are gonna look back and be like, oh man, when my granddad was alive, like they had to actually drive cars. Like I'm saying it's gonna become just a thing that you get inside and then you get out in your destination, just like trains. It's gonna be like trains. Like now, like you get into a train, you sit and you wait and you come out of a train. I reckon that's what cars are gonna be like. You go into the car, on the little screen you put, this is my destination, enter, and it just starts driving.
Okay, well, what about this? Okay, I got a question. Yeah. All right. So you're driving a car, and it's a self-driving car, and the car hits a man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've obviously caused him substantial injury. Yeah. Who's liable for that?
Okay, listen to this, bro. Obviously, when there's driverless cars, there's gonna be way less crashes because everything's run with a computer system. So, like, there's the element of human mind and anger and all that kind of stuff goes out of control.
Okay.
Like, because, bro, what do a majority of crashes? Why do they happen? Because, like, in your mind, you either have a quick like switch of anger, or you're like in a rush, so you're like driving a bit more erratically, or like you pull out when there's a car coming, you didn't see it in your blind spot, and all of those things are eradicated by. But I think so. It'll be, bro, 100% there'll be less crashes.
There'll be less crashes, but what I'm saying is it's beyond that. So even if there are less crashes, right?
Yeah.
When a designer has made a car, so
Yeah.
say Audi comes out with a car, a self-driving car, and that car, causes a crash. So who's liable for that? The company, right? Is it the driver's fault or the company's fault for having that fault in the system?
I don't know. But
What
that shouldn't be the
what do you
reason
think,
to
Sam?
stop us having driverless cars because we don't know who's liable.
It's not the fact. It's not to do with stopping us. It's to do with whether companies would take that risk.
I mean,
have you seen like Toyota's like? Did you see Toyota's whole like brake situation on their cars? So a lot of their cars were
Tesla.
No, it was Toyota. So a lot of Priuses were having brake malfunctions, and there was a rise in crashes because of it. What I'm saying is, systems like computer systems aren't infallible. There's always errors. It doesn't matter whether it's human element or a computational element. There's always going to be errors, and big companies can't be liable for that, because that's when it comes down to human lives, and that's why it hasn't gone as far as it could have been in the last.
Well, you got to look at
I reckon I get a little chance to speak.
Yeah,
this is crazy what you're talking about, but because it's far. It's quite far. It's quite far. But
I don't think it's that far.
It is.
20 years.
It's almost like if there was going to be what you're describing, it would almost have to be, you're comparing it to a train, it would almost have to be, the roads would almost be just for cars, and there would be no way pedestrians can actually go, can cross, etc. And it's almost like, not a track as such, but it would have to be controlled in the sense that human beings couldn't
come in interaction.
Yeah, so obviously a train line is a train line.
Exactly.
Obviously some people do get near the train line, but generally human beings never ever go near the train line, do they? It would have to be the same motion with a driverless car. Otherwise, there would be lots of injuries and things like that happening.
Seen iRobot?
I'm thinking about iRobot a lot.
Yeah.
Thinking about iRobot a lot. It would almost have to be, to do that motion you're talking about, you just get in the car and press the thing. It would almost have to be like, it would have to be just roads purely based just for these cars that are set manually, that no one actually has to physically get there. It would be like almost like a separate road that would exist, that people don't even walk. That's what I can't imagine. Like, I can't imagine some of the roads in London with driverless cars. Like, it'd have to be like almost like not a track as such, but a dual carriageway almost separated, which are just for the cars that can do
driverless,
that.
Yeah.
So there's no way that a human being could even get. I can't see it. I know it's going to happen, but I can't play out what you're playing out in your head.
It's there's diagrams of it online already. So like the way they've done it is it's still normal roads, but you're right. You'd have to assume that every single car would have to be driverless, otherwise it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
But like, it's just like everything's computer based. So like even the traffic lights, there'll be the same amount of traffic lights and stuff right now, but it'll be like electronic. So when it's gone red, the car automatically stops. You can't even drive faster. So then the pedestrian crosses. But you're right. But it's a massive system, and everything would have to be driverless. Otherwise, it won't work. You're right.
Set like.
Yeah, perhaps you're right. Then maybe it will take way longer than what I'm saying. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think so. But they could introduce like there's somewhere in the world, advanced piece of world, they actually have like an almost like a dual carriageway or a motorway set up, which is just for driverless cars, and it's almost like you can't enter it. It's just your car goes up and down it, and that's it. And there's no way for any kind of error of.
That's what Elon Musk is setting up right now. So he's basically setting up this thing. The guy who started Tesla, he's setting up this thing with these tunnels, and he wants to start it in LA first, where because the traffic in LA is so bad, where he's basically saying that you can go further down than you can go up, because down they still haven't like this, you go so down. So he's basically creating this system. He's already like started creating it, where in LA they're gonna have tunnels that are just like literally go down as much as you want. And so what would happen is, you drive yourself, and then like you get into like this bay, like imagine like a parking spot, like a bay, and then that bay like unlooses and it drops you into the tunnel that has the least amount of cars or whatever. It's all electronic, and then like takes you to your destination, and then like you rise up in destination. And that's not a thought, he's already started. But right now what he's trying to do is figure out how he can make it as cost effective, because he's saying that right now it would cost, I think he said something crazy like $1 billion per mile or something, or something crazy, or like he said something crazy, and he said, so the way he's figured out how to make it more cost effective, and so he's like trying to implement that. But there's an entire massive interview in front of a huge audience where he's being interviewed about it specifically, speaking about numbers and stuff.
You have so much more. I don't. I've heard you talk about this before. I don't know. Really? I don't know anything about it, to be honest. So maybe your prediction that we'll see it is correct, because I'm sure if we
perhaps.
What have we got now? Even just things like the Eurotunnel, that many years ago would have seemed like a ludicrous suggestion that there's actually a tunnel going under the sea that takes you right to France. But they did it, and for us now, that's quite a dated concept, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It probably. I haven't got the knowledge that I haven't looked into it like you have. You know,
I haven't looked too much. Let's go to the next current event.
Next one is to do with housing prices in London. So it costs more to rent one room. Sorry, no, buy one. Wait, no, what? It was rent one room or buy one room. I can't remember. Hold on one
I don't
second.
think you can buy a room.
Did you know in Dublin city centre the prices of accommodation and to rent is going up €1,000 a day?
What?
€1,000 a day.
So a room in London now costs
It's really expensive.
more
It's a lot of money
than
then.
a house in Northeast.
You'll like it. You'll like it.
Oh.
You will like it. Not that it's flashy, but there is. Yeah. You will like it. It's not like flashy, but there's money there and a lot of things going on.
Really?
Good energy, yeah. You love the Irish like work mentality is
Strong.
yeah, mashallah.
Yeah, I'd like
It's
to see it.
inspiring.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Red.
Red.
No, that's cool. So this year, the cost of a house in London per habitable room, excluding bathrooms, conservatories, kitchens, and utility rooms, was £132,000, which is more than the average cost of an entire property in the northeast of England.
So per room.
Per room, yeah.
Costs more to get a room in London than it does to get a house in
in the northeast, basically. Yeah.
northeast.
Well, basically north, or anywhere else in the world, I think.
That's crazy, isn't it? It doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
Nah, it doesn't surprise me either.
I was saying the other day, like I would love to like go and live somewhere else
Yeah, but would
and
you?
work there. Yeah, I'd love to live in Japan or for about a year or
oh,
two
like
and
a
work
sort
I
there.
was thinking about like up north or somewhere like really far up north.
No. I mean
Often
different
think
country,
about that.
just away from London because London's so expensive.
Generally, like these places that are amazing to live in are so expensive to live in,
Mm.
and it's all
Yeah.
kind of part and parcel. We really take the fact that we're from London, we take it for granted. We complain, but London is like one of the most amazing cities in the whole world.
Yeah.
And we
I love
do,
it.
and it's incredible. We take it for granted. I'd certainly take it for granted, but we are like obviously you guys are more London than me, but the fact that it's incredible that we can even enjoy the city as our own. So the fact that it's ridiculously expensive, it makes sense to me. Like for instance, Dublin city centre. It's not the same as London, but it's a very happening place. There's a lot of money going into it. There's a lot going on. So when you look to see how much it costs there, it doesn't really surprise you that it's so expensive. And then we go 3 hours drive up north. You can get very, very cheap property. But then let's look. I'm not disrespecting anywhere up north. There's a lot of amazing cities up north. But somewhere like someone gave me an example of like even in Scotland that you can buy a castle for like $500,000 or something like that.
Castle.
A castle.
Subhanallah.
I was quoted that a few years ago, so that might have changed now. But point being, yeah, you can get a lot for your money, but then where are you living? Have you got the same opportunities, advantages, etc. from living in that area? So it's you got to balance. What do you want out of your life? Where do you want to have your career? What do you want to do for your career? And where's the best place for you to do it? Because 8 times out of 10, London is that the advantages of doing business in somewhere like London is just, it's...
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, what does like living in such an expensive city, like say for you, like people like you guys, like, business owners, does it make it more difficult? Does it?
Because even like from St Albans, where I live, is a really, really expensive place to live. Like it's insane. Yeah, did you look?
Yeah,
it's an expensive place to live. But it's like I can't see myself at the moment moving out of St Albans because it's where I'm born and bred. And do you know what? There's a reason why it is expensive because it's a very nice place.
Yeah,
and for me, it's a very good place for me to do the businesses that I do. And moving forward, I would love to have a shop somewhere in whether it's central London or East London and have a shop there. And yes, the rent and the rates would be ridiculous, but then I'm going to be somewhere that I want to be, somewhere prestige. And it outweighs the negatives because in theory I could have a bigger shop somewhere with cheaper rent, but I'm not going to be where I am.
I could imagine like a men's buyer in like Oxford Street, Regent Street.
Inshallah.
Yeah,
Inshallah.
Yo, Reg, you might as well put that G7X battery on charge, bro. The dead one. Is that dead?
Yeah, but there's still like quite a lot on that.
Yeah, but they die quick, man.
So you got to weigh it up, and generally, it's worth that cost of living because you get to live and work, in a very good place that offers you many opportunities. Yeah. Anything else to add? Sorry. Where? Where's that from? Fighting.
Because I'm odd.
But yeah, that's the end of current events.
Current events. Current events.
Oh,
wow.
We were missing that last week. We didn't have that little like.
Did you do current events last week?
Huh?
Did you do current events?
Did
We did. Yeah.
I think we did. Yeah.
Did you do current? Did you?
Yeah, I did it without you. It really sucked.
Yeah.
I did like the whole like current events. It just was awful.
Everything sucked. That it was just bad. Without you, it just needed you.
Okay, the episode was decent.
No,
No,
joking.
not bad.
I don't think Red liked it.
Oh, sorry. Wow. Yeah, no, it was good, man. Red carried it a lot of the time as well.
I bet he
We had a
did.
camera on Red.
Nah.
I can't believe he had a camera on him.
Yeah.
I thought
There's
he was
a
in the
bit out
shadows.
of,
I thought you were a shadow guy.
Not last week. No.
How did you
Red
feel
was
about that?
It was alright. I wasn't as uncomfortable as I thought it would. I would be, but yeah, it was alright. I dealt with it. It was good. Yeah.
Good.
Took one for the team.
Yes.
So, Sam, do you remember in the last episode, me and you spoke about the optician thing and about
Yeah.
and I said to you that what we were discussing is that we were both agreeing that it almost seems that the idea of like getting an eye test at optician is a bit of a scam, like in the sense that they're obviously going to call you for an eye test. And every time they call you for an eye test, they end up telling you your prescription's moved like 0.1%, and then you have to get new specs and new glasses. And it's a way of upselling and increasing sales. And what I had said to you is, I said, I bet if I spoke to my uncle about this, he would like refute me. Well, I spoke to my uncle about it.
He's an optician.
Who he owns one of the Specsavers, yeah, and. So I rang him. I said I want to get some new frames because I've had my frames for years now. I want to get some look at the Reds frames. I really like them.
Yeah, nice.
I want to get some nice frames, man. So I rang him and I said I want to get some new frames. I might come into your shop and get some frames. He was like, yeah, cool. He was like, when have you had an eye test? And I was like, nah, but I just went in. I was like, I don't want an eye test. Like, here's why. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but this is my opinion on them. I think like, but I just spoke to him honestly, yeah. And he said, Faisal, you know you haven't had an eye test since 2013. Which is 4 years ago, yeah. And I said, I know, but I can see perfectly, blah, blah. Like, I don't understand the concept of it. And so I explained to him that I feel like I can see perfectly, so I don't feel like I need an eye test. And one of the things he said is, even though you feel like you can see perfectly, you don't know what you're missing because you can't see. Now, at that point, I didn't necessarily agree with, because if I feel comfortable with what I can see, alhamdulillah, I'm fine. But the second point he raised, he caught me, and he said that the other thing that eye tests do, because they look at the back of your eyes and stuff, they can see if you've got any like diseases and illnesses that otherwise that you won't be able to tell. And I thought that was a good point.
So he upsold you.
He didn't upsell me because eye tests are free, but
they're free.
Well, eye tests.
Why are you anti it then? Because you might have to get a new frame.
Because once you get an eye test, generally you get told that you have to get new lenses, new frames. That's the point.
So the eye test is free.
Generally, there's generally I think they cost, but
right.
You could always get free eye tests from anywhere, bro.
Right.
Like, because that's not what costs the money.
So what's the fear? Because I don't wear glasses, so I haven't got as much like. I don't understand it as well as you. If you had an eye test now, are you anti it because if they told you have to get new frames, you'd have to get new glasses. You'd have to get everything new, and
you have to get everything new, and that costs like a lot of money.
So So you're content with the glasses you've got.
That's why
you wanted him to give you new frames, but continue using
with
the
my
same
prescription because I was happy with it.
Yes.
Yeah, but he said get an eye test, and I'm probably gonna get an eye test, especially because it's been 4 years. So I kind of take it back. 4 years is a long time.
Mashallah, your uncle knows how to earn money.
Yeah. Wow, that was really fucking laugh. Bro, I felt myself getting so out of breath recently. I'm actually really worried. I know that it was probably maybe half because of that diet, but I get out of breath walking up the stairs and stuff, man.
Definitely 1 week of bad diet was not gonna.
Nah, it doesn't make it that bad, does it?
Go to the doctors, man.
Maybe. I do have asthma, so maybe I'll just blame it on that. I'm not gonna go to the doctors over it. Definitely.
When was
not.
the last time you went to the doctors for a checkup?
A checkup?
Yeah.
Like a general checkup?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I never right. I know. My missus is on me so much.
Yeah, you should.
So should you.
No, but you're like a middle-aged man. Like, you gotta have all that stuff checked, innit?
Middle-aged man. Yeah.
I know we talk every week about What the Health, and I still haven't watched it. However, I did start watching. I watched like the first 20 minutes of it, and then I fell asleep. And bro, from what I watched, I was already becoming a vegan before my own eyes. Bro, they were saying that like if a person who has chicken so regularly has like a higher increased likelihood of getting prostate cancer. And I have chicken like every day, all the time. That scared me.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I don't
worth
want
watch.
prostate cancer.
Huh?
I don't want prostate
No,
cancer.
protect you from that.
I mean, and you.
And red.
I mean, mad, innit?
Yeah,
you watched the whole thing, innit?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't become a vegan from that, but definitely it's.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like the way you said that is like, oh, I haven't become a vegan from that, but I became a vegan.
No. I'm not vegan, but I'm not saying veganism is extreme because it's. To be fair, the vegan diet is the most healthy diet, proven, but I couldn't commit to that. And also, I'm not a vegetarian either. But that is definitely a healthier way. Again, it's definitely a healthier option. But I just have a desire for chicken.
I love me some chicken.
So randomly, I was working yesterday. I got hungry.
You were randomly working.
I was
Oh,
working
look
yesterday
at me!
and
I'm working now. Wow.
Randomly, I thought I'm going to get a chicken wrap, and I never do this because I was going to go home about an hour later for some dinner. So I got Butter to run up the road and got me this chicken wrap. And I had a client in my chair. I thought, I'm so hungry. I went off and just ate it quickly, and I enjoyed it so much.
Wait, why your client was in your chair?
Yeah, he was waiting. Yeah.
Oh, well, you got to look after yourself.
You mean
I read that.
my body's got rights over me? So
How are you going to cut his hair if you're just thinking about food?
I had to energise myself, so I went and had this chicken. Point being, after I finished it, I thought to myself, I can never give chicken up like full time. I love it. I do really, really love it, but I have it on occasion rather than too much.
Yeah, because they were saying like the chicken that we have nowadays is like injected with all sorts of
This
stuff.
is the thing, bruv. Like, obviously, Allah's made it permissible for us to have meat, chicken, fish, red meat. He hasn't made it permissible, but understand these days, where does this all come from, and like what's the condition of these animals, and it's not how it used to be. So I don't know. It's best like maybe the rules. I don't know. I'm not going to say the rules would be different, but judging from the conditions now of things, like maybe some things would be haram because they are definitely there's some of these things that they pump for these animals and stuff, and how they keep the animals and the distress of the animals. It's not how like Allah intended. Do you know what I mean? In the sense that if they were, organic farming and stuff doesn't really exist anymore. Even with these fish farms, bruv, like you've seen how like I
haven't seen it. Bad conditions.
It's a mad thing, yeah.
Speaking of you getting a chicken wrap when you're at work, yeah, I went to get a haircut, I think when you were in Dublin, and I was early for my haircut, and I was really, really hungry. I had a gym session, and then I was hungry, and so I had about 20 minutes or half an hour to spare, and so I got there, and it was a Sunday, and I was like, I'm going to get myself a nice grilled chicken, sheesh, like what do they call it? They call it something different. Meshri, yeah. I'm gonna get that. So it's like grilled chicken cubes in a like pita bread or something. Yeah. And I got there. It was 12 o'clock. I knocked on the door. He was in there, and it was locked. And he said we open at 1. And I was like, oh, like I had planned to have such a healthy kind of food, and I was so hungry. So I went next door to the kebab place. I was like, bro, by now I had like 20 minutes. I said I have 20 minutes to like. For you, I've got to eat the food. Right? If you come out and stop left, like closer to Tesco.
The place that we went and got a wrap from there a long time ago.
Maybe, I think so.
Turkish place.
And I said to him, bro, I said, can you do me chicken sheesh? He said, yeah, but it takes about, I think 15, 20 minutes to cook. I said, I haven't got that time. I have to have it eaten by then. And so I said, what can you give me now that can literally be ready in 5 minutes? So I've got like 10 minutes to eat. And he goes, chicken burger and chips. And so I went, a deep fried chicken burger and chips. That's what I went with in the end. I feel really upset with myself because my intention was to go and have a healthy.
It's strange. I mean, you want to go somewhere healthy and you're on Hatfield Road and you just don't think just to go to 59. Probably the healthiest place in St Albans on Hatfield Road.
I did go to 59, I believe that day.
You should have done.
Yeah, but I wanted like
tuna.
I was like.
I know you wanted gym food. You wanted some chicken proper food.
I do love 59 though.
Obviously, you prefer a deep fat burger and chips more.
They don't do good coffee though.
Who, 59?
No, 59 do the best coffee.
Turkish. They do good Turkish tea.
Oh, I've never had their coffee. I can't say they don't do good coffee, but...
They don't serve coffee.
Oh, well then they don't do good coffee.
You're right.
Would you look at that?
What?
Would you look at that?
Let's look at it.
Right. It was nice to have an episode of us three again, man. How long have we been promising a guest for? A long time, innit? We need to get a guest in next week. Let's work on that. Guys, if you have any guest ideas and opinions, drop it down in the comments as well. If you're listening to this podcast on the podcast app, hit subscribe. If you listen to it on YouTube, hit subscribe. It was lovely to be back with the OG team, the original good friend team. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys, for listening to the podcast. Sam, any last words?
Thank you. Let it go.
Assalamu alaikum, guys.